Closed captioning is brought to you by Insect Defend Patch, deep-free protection from biting insects.
For those of you that pike fish, if you're fishing especially in open water or over weeds that don't grow to the surface, a red and white spoon is probably the #1 lure still right across North America. You know what though I found? That over the years, the canoe spoons from Lucky Strike in the high contrast colors also work really well. That's what I'm holding here in my left hand. You can see that these are pearl color with either 1 or 3 dots. And for some reason, to have this high contrast color like red on pearl or red on white works really well for pike, probably because their vision is so good. Now you might think that some of these spoons that are up to 6 inches long are too big. You're wrong. You'll even get pike that are almost the size of this spoon, but also pike up to 15, 20 pounds or even bigger in size. If I'm fishing for pike in open water where I think the pike are feeding on bright colored, like silver bait fish, I'll go with either a silver and copper color or bronze color. But traditionally the high contrast colors work really well, and you can cast these spoons or you control with them. Just make sure to use a wire leader. Wow, the wind's picked up a little bit. We went for a little bit of a run into a bay that Bob said's got a lot of good-sized pike. And this is about my 3rd cast, and I got a decent-sized pike. He hit the Rapala Max Wrap that I'm hoping to show you, if I can get him untangled. I have a 30-pound test fluorocarbon leader, and he's rolled in it, and I can see the line has gone underneath his gill plate and over his gill rakers, which are very sharp. So I'm hoping he won't cut that leader, because even though fluorocarbon is a tough material, those gill rakers are very, very sharp. So I'm going to just try to slowly guide him this way. You can see that Max Wrap is just right across his mouth. He got it like a gator. And he's got tons of energy. Oh, he's only got 1 treble hook left now. This is going to be interesting. I got to be very careful grabbing him, so I only get him behind the head. There. Look at that, nice northern. Beautiful fish. You know, I'm glad he shook his head a couple of times because it loosened the other hooks out. So I'm just going to try to just pull back on him. As soon as you start to grab the trebles on the lure, they want to close their mouth. And I've got a mouth spreader, but I got a feeling that if he thrashes his head, that mouth spreader is going to go into the lake. So I got the lure out. Just going to hold him up so you can see him. He wants to fly out of my hands. I'm guessing that fish is about 27, 28 inches. One thing I've appreciated though from this lake is that the pike have really wide, we call them shoulders. You can see how wide his back is. I'm going to extend him out, but I got a feeling he's going to take off like a bullet. You know, the nice thing about being up here at Marmac Lodge is that you can get walleye throughout the day, but the hottest fishing is early and late in the day, obviously. And you know what? We haven't been getting up real early to get our fish. We've been having breakfast about 8:30, going out, and the walleye fishing is good, especially for the first 2-3 hours. And then if you get bored of getting walleye, or the walleye fishing slows down in the part of the lake that you're fishing, you can always go for northerns. I'm going to wait just a little bit. And again, I'm going to try just grabbing him behind the head. Can't get over how wide these fish are. They probably eat a lot of walleye because we spoke to some of the other guests, and quite a few of them have hooked walleye, or hooked pike when they've been walleye fishing. I don't know if I can get this guy. Let me try here. Got to be very careful here. I got rods underneath me. Oh. He might fall out of my hand. I'll tell you what, I barely got my fingers. You know what? That is a nice fish, Barbara.
That's a beautiful
fish. Is that a gorgeous fish?
Yeah, that's a
long,
stay
like that.
thick
Look.
fish.
He's got that front hook in his mouth, and he's got 1, 2 down the side of his throat. But he's going to be okay. I'm going to have to lay him down for just a moment here to get the hook out. Hopefully he's not going to thrash around too much. I'm just going to hold him here for 1 sec. I'll tell you what, I'm trying to hold him really tight. Hopefully he won't flip while I'm taking the lures out. Oh, look at this. He opened his mouth for me. There's the one hook that he had inside the mouth. The other one there. And you know what? There's no use even putting him on the measuring tape because he's so long. Here, I'll show you. So this is 36 inches. So I'm butting his head up. And you know what? He's at least 3-4 inches longer. So that's a good sized pike. Okay. Isn't that a gorgeous fish? Now, hopefully, he won't fly out of my hands. I want to make sure that he revives. Again, because he's been handled. I got that glove on his tail. Look at how long he is. Just gorgeous northerns. And there he goes. Just a curve and heading towards the bottom.
Canadian sport fishing, brought to you in part by Suffix, the world's most hardcore fishing line. Yamaha Outboards, reliability starts here. Sail, the outdoors superstore. Lucky Strike, all you need is a Lucky Strike.
You gotta love this. You know, when you're in northern Ontario, to see some of the beautiful wildlife. We got a moose. I think it's a cow, but this early in the year, they don't have big antlers, even if it would be a bull. Mulligan's interested. She's huffing over there. Bob told us that sometimes they'll see some big cows with calves. So it's kind of nice when you're fishing. And you know, we're watching this moose, and the reason I'm casting, we just saw a big pike boil over here. So it's just nice to see this, because this is the real thing, right in the wild. You can actually watch them while you're fishing. So it's kind of neat.